Hey everyone, today we are making this super cute crochet bandana. It's a perfect summer project and perfect for beginners. We are crocheting the whole thing in just one piece. So grab your favorite yarn, your hook, and let's jump right into it. For this project I'm using yarn from Hobbii. It's called Friend's Wheel and it is in this beautiful green color. And then I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook, which is the recommended hook size. We start with a slip knot. For a slip knot, create a loop with your right hand, grab the yarn from the left and pull it through. And now we can insert our hook. We start by chaining 3. For a chain, yarn over and pull through, and then we need 2 more. After the 3 chains, we want to continue with some double crochets. For a double crochet, yarn over, now insert into the very first chain after the slip knot, grab the yarn and pull a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 of the 3 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops for a double crochet. Now we need 2 more double crochets. Yarn over, insert into the same stitch, grab the yarn, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And then 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. And this already is our first row. Now every row goes the same way. We always want to start by chaining 2 and then turn your work. We will work in granny clusters, so always 3 double crochets into the same stitch. And the first granny cluster goes into the last double crochet of the former row. So you yarn over, insert your hook into the last double crochet of the former row, crochet a double crochet, and then 2 more into the same stitch. And 3 double crochets into the same stitch are called a granny cluster. And this is how we start each row. We also end each row the same way. We'll crochet a granny cluster in between the first double crochet of the former row and the 2 chains. So in between here. Yarn over, insert your hook between the 2 chains and the first double crochet of the former row, pull a loop. Now you can see the space better. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a double crochet, and then 2 more double crochets right next to the first. And this was row 2. Now we have created the space between the granny clusters, and in each space we'll crochet a granny cluster as well. So we start by chaining 2, turn your work. The first granny cluster goes into the last double crochet of the former row. So in here, we'll do 3 double crochets. And then we jump to the space that is created between 2 granny clusters. And each space will also get a granny cluster. So here you can see, when you pull it apart, you can see that space. And each space needs to get 3 double crochets. And then each row has 1 more space than the row before. So here we'll do a granny cluster. And then we have reached the end of the row, and this means 1 more granny cluster in between the 2 chains, the 2 turning chains, and the first double crochet of the former row. And this is basically how each row works. So from here I would chain 2 and do a granny cluster into the last double crochet of the former row, then a granny cluster into each space, and then one more granny cluster in between the 2 turning chains and the first double crochet. Let's do one more row together. We start by chaining 2, turn our work. We'll do the first granny cluster into the last double crochet of the former row, so the first stitch that we can see. And then we need to do a granny cluster for each space in between the granny clusters of the former row. So we have 2 here for this row. This is the second one. And then we're already at the end of this row, which means one more granny cluster in between the 2 turning chains and the first double crochet of the former row, which is here. And then you can see in this row we have created 3 spaces. So each row gets one more granny cluster. So from here I would chain 2 and then do a granny cluster into the last double crochet of the former row here, then a granny cluster for each space, and then one more granny cluster here. And then we continue with our rows until it is 40 centimeters long. For me this meant 33 rows, but you can also just try it on and see when the corners go behind your ears. And then when we have the right size, and now all we need to do is crochet a strap. We start by chaining until the chain is 20 centimeters long. For me this meant 40 chains. And now we want to crochet our way back with single crochets. We want to crochet these single crochets into the back bump. When you turn your chain, you find those vertical loops, the back bumps, and we want to crochet into those. So skip the first back bump, insert your hook into the second back bump from the hook, then grab the yarn and pull a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops for a single crochet, and then continue in the next back bump. Insert your hook, grab the yarn, yarn over and pull through. And we will do a single crochet for each back bump until we reach our corner again. When we have reached the corner, we want to do the second strap, and we will crochet our way to the other corner. Because we worked into the back bump, we have this cool effect that we have loops on both sides, so it looks very even and nice. You have the V shape on one side and then the V shape on the other side as well. So to go to the other corner, we want to connect what we have crocheted to the main body. We will insert our hook into the next stitch and do a single crochet, and then a single crochet for each of the next stitches until we reach the other corner. So each double crochet of that last round that we did gets a single crochet on top until we are on the other side, all the way over here. And then when we have reached the other side, we need to do one more strap, so we will repeat everything we did on the first side. So 40 chains again, and then single crochets into the back bump until we reach the corner. And when we have reached the corner, we are actually done. Our bandana is finished. You can also do a finishing knot and wear it like this, but if you still want to do something a little special and you still have some yarn left, you can also do a really nice and beautiful border, and we will do this now together. So we will do a border all the way down and then up here again with double crochets. First we need to connect the strap with a slip stitch, so insert, grab the yarn and pull through, also through your working loop. And then here you can see these little spaces where the granny clusters are crocheted in, so here and here. And so I yarn over, insert into the next space, grab the yarn and do a double crochet, and then 7 more double crochets. All go into that little space that is created by the granny cluster. And when we have the 8 double crochets, we want to connect it with a slip stitch into that next space. So here, about 1/2 centimeter to the left, you can see the next space. Insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull through, also through your working loop. And then we repeat this. The next space also gets 8 double crochets. And then we connect all this with a slip stitch into the next space. Here. And then you repeat all of this. So the next little space gets again 8 double crochets, and then here a slip knot, 8 double crochets, and then the slip knot. And you go all the way down here and then all the way up to the other strap. And then you are done. Your bandana is finished and has this beautiful border. We finish off with a finishing knot and then we are done. This is our bandana finished. It was super quick and easy. Let me know in the comments what color you went with. And if you found this tutorial helpful, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Check out my channel for your next quick and no-sew project, and as always, have fun crocheting!